Hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be checking out the Team Corelli Kagama 4. Now, it did take a little bit longer to get to me here in Canada, guys. The Kagama 4 has been out for about a month, but I'm definitely, guys, pumped to check this thing out. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Hey, Jason, he's a huge Team Corelli fanboy. And you know what? I'll even say I'm fine with that. Over the years, guys, I've had many Team Corelli cars, and they always are amazing. They always stack up. But when Corelli dropped the Synchro 4, they kind of changed everything. You know, if you've watched any of my videos on the Synchro 4, that I consider the Synchro 4 now the best RC car, period. It is the best out-of-the-box experience that you can get. If you could kind of, have, let's say, I don't know, like a graph or some type of table showing all the things that make an RC car good. So from performance to handling to speed to durability to looks to even just things like, how are the tires? Do you want to change the tires? All that kind of stuff. Nothing beats the Synchro 4. And guys, I'm going to stress that because nothing ever has. I think a long time ago, we may have, we used to talk about the Slash 4x4 as being a great sort of beginner basher type truck. We went to the MT10, which is a good truck. Don't get me wrong, guys, but nothing holds up to the Synchro 4. Even I should put the Mojave 4S in that as well, because that is also another fantastic truck, but nothing does and has done what the Synchro 4 has done. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get the Kagama 4 out of the box, and then we're going to obviously, guys, take a look at it, go over the specs, but we're going to talk about why, if you're thinking, okay, yeah, Jason's of course is going to love the Kagama 4 and he's just going to talk really good about it. You got to understand that I'm actually, guys, going to be harder on that truck than anything else. I'm going to be harder on the Kagama 4 than, let's say, I would be on if Traxxas was to release another truck similar to this, or if Arrma had released another truck similar to this. Because again, I'm holding it, guys, to the standards of the Synchro 4, and that buggy is super high. So with that, let's just, you know what, guys, enough talking. Let's get it out of the box. All right, guys, there it is, the Team Corelli Kagama 4. Now, my first thoughts when I got it out of the box were kind of similar to when I unboxed the Synchro 4. The truck's got a little bit of weight to it, which is nice. I think because these are considered like hybrids. So if you don't know anything about the Synchro 4, it has an aluminum chassis and then a lot of composite plastic where you want it. The same is going to go, guys, for the Kagama 4. So you have that nice aluminum chassis, which everything is bolting into, keeps everything strong and rigid. But then you've got composite plastic where you want it. So parts that you're going to have a little bit of bend to them, that's where you want that composite plastic, and that's what they've done. Now, before we get into the truck, I just realized I did want to go over some of the box art just so I can show you guys some of the specs, some of the parts that this truck does come with, and then we're going to get back to the Kagama 4. Now, what you got here is 4mm aluminum and HD composite pin holders, 16mm big bore shocks. What's nice about these is that they do have collars on them, so they're not spacers or anything like that. You have 3 differentials, so your front, your center, and your rear are all fluid filled, so you can tune it any way you want. Metal gears in those diffs. You have CVDs in the front, dog bones in the rear, sealed ball bearings, decomposite arms, as well as, guys, I kind of consider this sort of like a Team Corelli kind of trademark, their bumper skid plate combo. It is very robust, very durable, and I've even installed that combo, guys, on other cars that I've had just because I like having especially in the rear, something there to kind of, before you start hitting the chassis. I look at some of the cars that I have that don't have a rear skid plate on them, and the chassis just gets ground down. The screws also get ground down, so I'm definitely glad that they have these on the Kagama 4. Now, looking, guys, at the truck, I'm definitely happy with how everything kind of comes together. The scale-wise, the wheels and tires, the body, the wing. If you're wondering, guys, about the wing, it does look a lot like the Synchro 4 wing, but it's actually a little bit smaller. It's just not as wide, so it's not like it's a part that they carried over. So kind of cool. They've tuned everything in. It sits very flush, almost kind of with the body there. These wheels and tires you've seen before now. If you have a Team Corelli Skeeter or you've at least seen the Skeeter, these are the wheels and tires that were on that truck. And I did run my Skeeter on 6S and they held up perfect. I didn't have any, the glue didn't come undone. They didn't tear or anything like that. So I know these are going to be great tires for this truck. At this time, guys, I should mention this. So when I first got it out of the box, I kind of just looked it over off camera, took the body off, and I decided to, at that point, install the 15-tooth pinion. Now, the reason I did that was The truck does come with a 13-tooth pinion. The Synchro 4 came also with a 13-tooth pinion. I installed the 15-tooth and I never had a problem, guys, temps-wise or anything like that. I vented it a little bit because the one thing with a buggy body is it is very closed up. On the Kagama 4, you do have a lot more airflow kind of coming in here where it's going to be able to pass through. So even though this truck is going to, obviously, guys, have a little bit more weight, it's got slightly bigger tires, I think it's going to handle the 15-tooth pinion just fine. And a lot of people with the Synchro 4 actually went right up to the 17-tooth pinion, and they've had no problems either. So I may do that at some point, but I think 15-tooth is going to be a good sort of middle ground for this truck. Now, before we get the body off, guys, I just have to take another look. Got to spin this thing around a couple more times because it looks really, really good. I like the graphics. I like the colors. It obviously, guys, if you haven't seen already, it comes in blue, red, and green. I went with the blue to kind of match my Synchro 4. I like the blue on it. It stands out when you're driving it around. And I just feel, I don't know, I do also, guys, just like the color blue. I like the way they have this kind of splash, sort of white and black at the front here. You've got a little kind of superchargers, what they call it, a little bit of a kind of a power bulge in the front of the truck. You've got these skids at the top, which is really, really nice because we know we're going to be rolling this thing. And overall, guys, I'm digging the body. A lot of people might comment on the fact that they're still using body pins. Personally, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's more frustrating to have a body come flying off when you're out ripping around than taking an extra few seconds, guys, to actually put the body pins in. That's just, again, guys, for me, it doesn't bother me at all. And the fact that Team Corelli does have they've got tethers on there, as well as they also have the angles in the body pins. So it does make putting the body pin back pretty simple. So we're good with that. Again, like I mentioned, guys, the big beefy bumpers and skid plates, 17mm hexes, guys. And I should show you guys, because believe it or not, I've actually heard people comment about this as being a negative thing about Team Corelli. So we're going to spin off one of the wheel nuts and hopefully we can get some focus. There you go. So you guys know what I'm pointing at. You guys know what I'm showing you here. So you can no longer comment that, hey, the wheel nuts don't come that way. Not even going to say what it is, because those that know, you guys know. All right, guys, now that we've kind of gone over the looks of the buggy, at least, what we're going to do is we're going to get the stand out of the way, and we're going to see how this thing feels, because I did, again, guys, the first time I took this thing out of the box, I kind of just looked at it a bit, and the suspension definitely feels like this truck is set up to bash. It is set up to jump. Now, guys, like I mentioned, I believe that Team Corelli set this truck up for the guys that want to take the big jumps. Hey, it's pretty much, guys, when I take a truck like this, that's all I do is hit the ramp over and over again. Obviously, you can tune things if you wanted it to be a little bit lighter. Personally, for me, guys, I think the truck feels absolutely perfect. And the one thing I do got to show you guys, because I do this in all my videos, because to me, it's something very important when it comes to the shocks. Often, we come down really hard on the rear. So you can see right now, I don't want to call it chassis slap, but you're kind of coming down pretty hard on that rear skid. But here's the crazy thing. So you've come down, you're hammering down. Check out the travel that's left. Guys, I can get my whole hand under there, and I can actually prop it up. So you know that if you're coming down on this truck, you're coming down on that rear, you've got spare shock left. Now, the same guys goes for the front, obviously not as much. You've got, I don't know if we can get my hand under there. Yeah, we can. So you know that they've set up the suspension, guys, really, really well. I don't know if that's coming across on camera. You can see there, guys. Yeah, we're only dropping it a few feet, but the suspension is barely compressing. So this thing, guys, is going to handle the big jumps really, really well. Now, the Kagama 4 shares the same electronics as the Synchro 4 as well as the Skeeter. You have the Torox ESC, which is good for 2, 3, and 4S. You have this Curon 725 2150 kV motor and the 25 kilogram steering servo. Now, this steering servo, guys, is a great RTR steering servo. You won't have to replace it. It is metal geared, and every RTR Team Corelli car that I have that has that steering servo in it, I never feel the need to replace it. You do have the built-in servo saver on the bell cranks, which is nice, and they've also added, it's kind of, Team Corelli now uses sort of like a double-decker Ackerman plate, so definitely, guys, in the front, we should be good to go with the steering. We shouldn't have any issues there. Now, the only thing I have not mentioned when it comes to the electronics is this radio. So this is the included radio. It's a CT2S. overall, guys, this thing feels pretty good in the hand. You do have a foam surround on the wheel. You have your steering trims, your steering dual rates, as well as a switch up here to cut the power by 50%, your on-off switch. We might use this in the first run, but I will then after that, guys, be throwing in probably a radio link receiver just so that we can get that added gyro and use my RC8X. Now, earlier we did talk about, guys, the skid plates. Just thought I'd show you guys the money shot here. These are, guys, without a doubt, probably the best in the industry. I like the way they tie in. And again, they add a little bit of protection from a bumper, even though in the rear, you're obviously going to be hitting the wheelie bar first. But underneath, you have a pretty hefty ridge there. I'm going to try to see if I can bring it in to show you guys. But you can see how before you get into the screw, and I'm kind of emphasizing this, guys, because it does happen a lot, you've got to go through all this plastic first. I think there's nothing worse than all of a sudden having to do diff maintenance and you flip your truck over and you realize that your screws have been completely shredded down. You would have to really wear this part of the skid plate down before you actually get to the screws. And then at that point, if you notice that you've actually worn this down, you could just pick up another and you're good to go again. The chassis looks sick. As always, guys, you've got this nice Kagama 4 Push Your Limits Team Corelli laser etching on it. Definitely a very high quality chassis, high quality aluminum. I've mentioned this in other videos as well, where even on my Team Corelli Shogun, which was not the XTR model, it was just their standard chassis 6061, not a 7075. I never had any issues with that chassis at all. So I have a feeling, guys, that we won't have any issues with this one either. Just kind of quickly gonna bring you guys in to show you everything going on up there, the CVDs. You do have the composite plastic links, but again, guys, I mentioned this in lots of videos, and pretty much any manufacturer that uses these, I prefer these to adjustable turnbuckles. The reason is the companies, especially companies like Team Corelli, they do a really good job of tuning the car before it, actually gets into manufacturing or into production, I guess. And you don't really need that adjustment. And to me, guys, the composite plastic is a lot stronger than running that metal with the rod end. So I'm kind of glad that they've stuck with this with all these cars. They've been doing it now since I think the version 2s of their 6S line. So my Dementor, which was 3 or 4 years ago now, came with these, and I've always liked them. One thing that I noticed as soon as I got the truck, and I kind of left it till now to address this, is on the box, it shows the composite plastic shocks. And it was funny because before I had actually unboxed the truck, I kind of was looking at the Synchro 4 because I was thinking, wait a minute, the Synchro 4 had the aluminum caps. And as you can see, guys, on the Kagama 4, you've got the aluminum caps also. So the box art shows composite plastic caps or black caps. Maybe that's what they were going for, but you do get the red aluminum caps. Now you do get adjustable body posts, guys, with the Kagama 4. You can see right here on the front as well as the rear. And you've got, guys, quite a bit of material here. You probably got about 3/4 of an inch hanging down. So you'd definitely be able to raise this truck, the body itself, up quite a bit. Or if you were looking at putting a different body on, you're gonna have a few kind of different configurations, how you could set up the body posts. I had actually, guys, thought, not that I would wanna do this permanently, but I thought it would be neat to put one of my Bigfoot bodies on here. The only thing is that with the wing and the shock tower kind of being all one piece, or at least the wing mount, sorry, you'd have to trim the body. So you'd have to kind of cut out the body. And that's kind of just, you can see, guys, in the stock body, the way it's kind of cut out back here. So you'd have to do the same thing if you were installing a different body. What I'm hoping, and guys, I do not have, this is just me hoping and guessing, that these 2 extra holes here and the 2 extra holes here in the front are for another 4S truck coming down the pipe. And fingers crossed, and they, again, guys, they have not said anything to us. I really hope that they have a short course truck off this platform coming, because I'm a huge fan of this platform, guys, based on the fact that I've had the Synchro 4 now since launch, and it's been an absolute indestructible tank. This truck, guys, I feel is going to be the same way. So to have a short course truck, because I love short course trucks and short course truck bodies, I think that would be really, really cool. Now, there might not be anything, maybe it's something else coming out, but either way, I am curious why they have those holes there, because it does make me think that something is coming down the pipe at some point. Now, as I was looking, guys, over the truck again, there was a few things that I just wanted to kind of bring your attention to. So I'm going to zoom in here, and you can see, guys, on the Ackerman plates, here is your kind of your beefy, your main Ackerman plate. But then right here, guys, you can see at the top where you have that second piece. So again, they use a dual Ackerman plate design. So I think between the Ackerman plates, the servo saver, the composite plastic link right here, the aluminum servo horn, and the 25 kilogram servo, you're gonna have some pretty good steering with this truck. Now, what I'm gonna do is I am gonna throw in a battery, just power up the truck. We'll test the steering, we'll, you know, give it a little blip of the throttle, but then we're gonna wrap things up. Now, I've gone ahead and thrown in my Gens Ace 5500 milliamp 4S pack. It still has a EC5 connector on it, which I will be switching over to an XT90 very, very soon. But as you can see, guys, the truck is powered up. You can probably hear the fan. We've got the controller in the hand. And you can see, guys, the steering is very smooth, as well as, guys, just it actually has enough torque to turn them fairly quickly. And again, guys, that is with the included 25 kilogram steering servo. Now, you're going to be kind of disappointed, guys, because we're not going to be driving the truck in this video. The reason we are not going to be driving the truck in this video is that even though it's the Sunday between Christmas and New Year's, and I am in Canada, which means it's winter, it's actually pouring rain right now. We've actually, guys, it's been raining now, I think, for about a day and a half. I've had the truck now for a few days, and I was really, really hoping to get it out and give it a run. When I first got this truck out of the box, because, guys, this video is all my unboxing videos are usually done over a couple of days. When I first got this truck out of the box, I did the 15-tooth pinion like I mentioned, but I'd also given the truck a full coat of the KRC Move Slick. So the spray that basically, guys, helps keep everything moving nicely, keeps parts from rusting. I don't even know if KRC wants me to refer to it that way, but it's just, guys, the way it is. The proof is in the pudding. I give the truck a nice coating, and when I get back, I clean it up, dry it off, and everything is good. You don't get that gross rusty color on the screws or anything like that. But I've done all that. So if you kind of see that the truck even looks like it's got a bit of a shine to it, that's what it is. When I was doing it, I kind of went a little bit nuts and may have sprayed too much in certain parts. But either way, the truck is protected. And now that it's sat for 2 or 3 days, guys, it's cured. It's going to be good to go. All we're waiting for now, guys, is the freaking weather. Again, it's Sunday, guys, between Christmas and New Year's. It's supposed to be beautiful. We should have nice snow, and instead we have rain. And that is very disappointing, guys, because I'm not going out to stand in the rain. But as soon as it gets nice, guys, we're going to get this truck out and see how she does. All right, guys, there you have it. The Team Corelli Kagama 4. Now, as soon, guys, as that rain stops, we're going to get out and give this truck a run. Probably will end up having -30 again or something. But either way, guys, definitely excited to run this truck and to see how it handles and to see just how everything compares to something like the Synchro 4. Now, obviously, guys, at this time of the year, I can't do the same style of driving as I put the Synchro 4 through. I'm not going to put this thing 25 feet up in the air and expect it to come down in the cold and survive. It just doesn't work that way. But we're going to do our best to have fun with the truck and put it through some abuse. But again, I'm not going to just deliberately, guys, wreck this truck trying to prove something. I don't do that. I don't care if I get the truck free or not. I try to look after them. I give them the KRC treatment. I do all that. So we're going to drive it once the rain stops. We're going to enjoy it. We're just not going to put it through, guys, what we put this thing through. And I'm going to mention it, guys, one last time. Without a doubt, the Synchro 4 from Team Corelli is the #1 RC you can buy. Yes, you can buy bigger, you can buy faster, but again, guys, like I mentioned at the start of the video, if you had kind of like a graph just going through everything that it makes an RC car great, the Synchro 4 would have this very linear type curve going on because it just does everything very well. And I'm expecting the same out of the Kagama 4. So guys, that's it. That's all. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe and have a fantastic day.